Hey everyone, what's going on? Christina here, and today we're going to be talking about a systems of equations, two variables with a Jeep and a BMW. Who's team Jeep? Who's team BMW? Let me know in the comments. Or, what's your favorite car in general? I love Porsches. I think they're beautiful and so classy, and yet maybe one day I will have one, but probably not in this lifetime. But anyway, let me know. Let's get down to it, right? So let's do this one. So it says a Jeep and a BMW enter a highway running east to west at the same exit, which is heading in opposite directions. Now the Jeep entered the highway 30 minutes before the BMW did, and it traveled 7 miles per hour slower than the BMW. Now, after 2 hours from the time the BMW entered the highway, the cars were 306.5 miles apart. We need to find the speed of each car, assuming they were driven on cruise control. They're just saying this because they just want to make it easier for you. If you're on cruise control, you only have that one single speed and it's not varying. Okay, so at the end of the day, right, we want to find the speed of each car. Now, we can maybe assume that they're going at the same speed, but we do have a statement here that the Jeep is traveling 7 miles per hour slower than the BMW. So we know that they're not going the same speed. But whatever the BMW is going, because obviously it's a BMW, right? It's going to be going faster than the Jeep. The Jeep is going to be going 7 miles an hour slower. So with word problems, we always need to use formulas, but they didn't give us any formulas here. So the thing is that we got to make up the formulas. And the best piece of advice that I could give you is always write out your variables first. It will kind of help you conceptualize what your formulas are going to be. Now, in this case, at the end of the day, we want to find out the speeds. So the speeds have to be the variable, right? The BMW speed and the Jeep speed. Now, it doesn't matter who's X, who's Y, or A, or B, or whatever other letter of the alphabet you want to use, right? So me, I just like to go for, straight up X, and I'll go from there. Now, in this case, maybe we'll make this blue. We're going to say that X will equal the speed of one of the cars. Whether you want to say that X is the BMW's car or the Jeep car, it doesn't matter. So maybe we'll say, since they said the Jeep is first, maybe we'll say that the X is the Jeep's speed. And now, just like we said before, we can't have two X's because that means that they're going to be going at the same speed if you're using the same variable. So we have to use a different letter for the BMW speed. So any letter will do. Usually if you use X, you use Y. And Y is going to be the BMW speed. Okay. Now here is a great rule of thumb, that the total number of variables that you use equals the total number of formulas you have to write out. So in this case, since we have two variables, we know that we have to write out two equations. So if you had a system of equations with three variables, you're looking for three equations. So in this case, let's try to find out the two equations that we could make up. Well, the first one is, I see it right here. Now they said that it's, the Jeep that entered the highway traveled 7 miles an hour slower than the BMW. So maybe we'll start off with that. So we said that the Jeep was the X value. So we'll say equation 1. And equation 1, the Jeep is traveling 7 miles an hour slower than the BMW. So maybe what I'll say is we'll say X, which is the Jeep speed equals 7 miles an hour slower than the BMW. So the BMW speed we said was Y. And would it be Y minus 7 or Y plus 7 to get the Jeep speed? Yeah, you're correct. It is Y minus 7. And you could always put in hypothetical values just to make sure you got it right. If the BMW speed was 10, 10 minus 7, this means that this guy's 3. And the Jeep will be traveling 7 miles an hour slower. So according to our equation, we wrote it the right way. So we have equation 1 down. Now let's try to make up a second equation. So equation 2. Now this one, let's see. They're talking about time, right? The Jeep entered the highway 30 minutes before the BMW did. And then after 2 hours from the time the BMW entered the highway, the cars were at 306.5 miles apart. This has to do with distance. Now, this equation or this question is highly reliant on you knowing your distance and speed formula. So usually, maybe we'll just put it up here, speed, which we're labeling as x and y, right? The speeds are x and y. Speed equals distance over time. So maybe I'll put that down here. Okay. Now, for this question, they're saying that after some time, so here's the time factor, the cars are 306 miles apart. That seems like that's what it's equal to. They're talking about it in terms of a distance. So maybe what I have to do is I have to just manipulate this equation to just see what distance equals. And if we just cross multiply, distance always equals to speed times time. Okay, so we're going to be using this equation for our second equation. Now we know that the total distance, right? We know that the total distance apart was 306.5. So whatever is going on here, this is going to equal, and it doesn't matter, we could put 306.5 over here, equals, or you could put, your variables and then equal to it. It doesn't really matter. But now, for each one of them, it's its speed times the time. So let's try it out, right? We know that this 306.5 is contributing to the Jeep's distance. So maybe we'll say Jeep's distance plus the BMW's distance. So there's two components here. But we have to talk about it in terms of these variables. And that's where the second part of it's going to be. It's going to be their speed times their time. So let's start off with the Jeeps, right? Now, Jeep has everything to do with X. So that's going to be the Jeep's speed. We're going to say that that's X. But now we want to times that X value by the time. Now let's see what it said about the Jeep, right? It said that the Jeep entered the highway 30 minutes before the BMW did. And the BMW has been on the road for 2 hours. So if the BMW is on the road for 2 hours, that means that the Jeep has been on the road for how long? Yeah, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Because the Jeep entered 30 minutes before, the BMW is on it for 2 hours, which means that the Jeep has to be 2 hours and 30 minutes. However, we can't have two different units here, right? Hours and minutes. Keep in mind that 30 minutes is always half an hour. So we could just say that the Jeep is equal to 2.5 hours. Now, we're going to take that X value, the speed, and times it by the Jeep's time, which is 2.5. And this combined distance is the Jeep's doing plus the BMW's doing. So we got to do the same thing for the BMW. speed times time. The BMW speed we said was y. And now, what is the BMW's time? Yeah, that was just 2 hours. So that's just going to be 2. And now you have a beautiful 2 equations. You have the Jeep's component plus the BMW's component, and they all will equal the distance, the total distance. Now we have these systems of equations, and we just have to solve them, right? Well, how do we do that? Well, usually if you just have one equation that is x equals or y equals, which we have here. We have one equation that is just x equals y minus 7. What we're going to do is we're going to use the substitution method. Now the substitution method is when you take the the x equals, which is right here, and plug in the other component, into what x was. In this case, you're substituting out the x and you're putting in what the y was. So in this case, for our equation, it's going to be 306.5 equals 2.5 times, well, x was y minus 7. And now just keep going with the normal formula, right? This was just plus 2y. Plus 2y. And now all we got is some distributing. And now we got rid of the x values so we could solve for y. So 306.5 equals 2.5y minus, what's that? 2.5 times 7. Times 7. Yeah, 17.5 minus 17.5 plus 2y. Group your y's together. So we have 306.5 equals 2.5y and 2. That's 4.5y minus 17.5. We're going to add the 17.5 on both sides. Okay. We are getting down to it. So this goes bye-bye. This equals 4.5. And now this is 0.432. We'll just double check on that. This is 13, so now that's a 14. That's a 2. Yep, that looks good to me. And then we're just going to divide by 4.5. And we're going to find y, which is the BMW speed. So y equals 324 divided by 4.5, 72. Uh-oh, in New York, the BMW's speeding. Max, actually, I don't know about upstate, but maybe upstate. Actually, maybe all of New York is 55 miles an hour as the state law. But if it is, oh boy, 72. Okay, so BMW is 72 miles per hour. And this is for the BMW. Okay, and now we just have to find out what was the Jeep speed. Well, use either formula that's easier for you, right? We have the two equations. So you're just going to pick the one that's easier for you. I'm going to use this one because it's already in x equals. So we're going to say x equals y, which was 72, minus 7. So what is that, 55? X equals, maybe we'll do that in blue. X equals 55 miles per hour. And that's the Jeep. Oh, yeah. And we could just double check on that if we just do this minus 7 65. See? That's why sometimes you just have to always just triple check. Don't be quick. Learn from my mistakes. And there we go, 65. Yeah, that makes sense. 72 minus 7 is 65, not 55. Okay. Anyway, that's the speeds of the car. So we got 72 for the BMW, 65 for the Jeep. They're both speeding in New York. I don't know about upstate though, but could be, could not be. But yeah, not on the Autobahn though. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for viewing the video. Subscribe to the channel. I look forward to helping you in more questions. Yeah, check the website out. We got, more stuff going on over there if you guys need more help. We love helping you guys out, and we want to be here for you every step of the way. All right, you know that we got your back. So that's kind of cool. I hope you're doing well. Good luck in your studying, and yeah. Also, I would like to give a huge shout out to Maricela. Thank you so much for being a member to the channel. Your support means a lot to my brother and me, and we're thrilled to have you be a part of this amazing community. Memberships are open on the channel, and if you want to become a member, just click that join button, which can be found below on any video if you're watching on your desktop, or it can be found on the overall channel page too. For all of you that want your name shown in the video, don't forget to choose the gold tier or higher. Thank you so much for considering, and have a great day. Talk to you in the next lesson. Bye-bye!